Hey, good morning. This is Joe from Crossmaster Journey, and this is my dice shooting journey. This is the second session of the yellow belt, and what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our stretches again. So we're going to go with the milk the cow. So we're going to squeeze the hands and just extend it out. We've got about 5 or 6 of these to do. Villa, good morning. Okay, then we have a wrist twist out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wrist twist the other way, so we're going to twist it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have fingers back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have gooseneck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have the bicep and shoulder stretch. And again, this is the second session of the yellow belt. We're just doing our stretches really quick, and then we're going to move on. Shorter mini squats. Get the blood flow into the legs. And the last one is stretching down, getting those hamstrings, the back of your legs, and just going down straight. Keep your back nice and straight. Okay. So let's move on to George's corner. So George's next set of rules and next set of things is he says, once you understand the rules of the game, you can proceed to start understanding the dice. Dice are the medium to your success or failure at this game. The odds are against us because of a possible 36 combinations. 6 of them are in favor of the casino. So in understanding dice, we must learn to minimize the 7s as much as we possibly can. So basically that says, hey, learn the rules, learn the different ways that 7s come up on the dice, learn the possibilities of what you can do. And the more you understand about the game, the better it is going to be for us as DI people, as dice influencers, as dice controllers, as dice rhythm rollers, the better we can do at the game of craps. We'll be able to pick our bets a little bit better. We'll be able to pick what we want to do on the table. What are the possibilities? What are the options? What will work best according to how we roll the dice. So review the white belt really quick. We got the dice grips. We'll grab some white dice today. So we're just going to go through, do 10 dice grips really fast. So we got 1, get into position. 2, and again, if the dice do not feel comfortable, if they're not set the way you want them to be, reset them and get back into your grip. So again, we want it tight together all the way around. We want to have them square to each other. And if you have it split even just a little bit, set them down, restart, and reset up the dice. Okay, so that's 4. And the better we can get at this, the faster and the easier it will become at the table to set the dice, get into your grip, and throw the dice at the table. Again, like I said, the goal of the casino is to get as many rolls as possible per hour. The more rolls that they get per hour, in theory, the more money they will make. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to do 5 drop tests. And again, the drop tests are so that you can train yourself to actually drop the dice by opening or releasing that thumb. So 5 drop downs. That was 1, 2, and this is a good way also to practice getting into your dice grip. 3, 4, and we got. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to do our dice setting. Remember that in our white belt we were at the 5-4-5-4, which is the hard way set. And with the yellow belt, we are adding in the 1-2-2-3, and also the 5-4-2-3, which is the all 7 set. I'm just going to adjust the camera here a little bit, guys. And I said I was going to go through the 1-2-2-3 today a little bit. Remember, I have a video out, and if you look at in my playlist, it's called a beginning dice sets comparison. And that'll go through all 3 dice sets that we're using at the yellow belt level. But if you go through the 1-2-2-3 dice set, so we're going to go 1, 2, and 2, 3. So 1, 2, 2, 3. You don't want to use this set if you are single pitching. So if one of the dice are single pitching forward or backward, that's going to start making your 7s. 71.43% of your 7s come that way. Remember that it's 1, 2, 2, 3 is good for box numbers. So 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. And if you stay on axis, you throw a good die, 73.33% of your rolls are going to be a box number. 31.11% of the rolls are going to be the 5s and 9s. And remember that 7 will show 15.56% of your rolls. So that's the best ratio that we have of all 3 of the dice sets on this yellow belt level. So we're going to go with the 1, 2, 2, 3 dice set. And we're just going to practice setting it here on 9 different times. So just trying to get it going, get our blood flowing in our fingers, get our brain working, get it concentrated on the game. And we're just trying to set it as fast as we can. Again, the better we can get at setting the dice, the better it's going to be for you at the table. You're going to get less heat from the dealers. You're going to hold the game up a lot less. And you're going to look like you know what you're doing a lot more. So make sure you practice this, guys. It's very important. And again, this is our morning dice session. So get the dice out, guys. Roll along with me. Work with me. Practice. I don't care if you're an expert dice thrower. I don't care if you're a beginner, if you're halfway between. Make sure that you practice. This is our morning session together. And we should make this a regular pattern. Next dice sets me to 5-4-2-3, which is your all 7 sets. So you got 5-4, and we've got 2-3. So there's 7s all around the dice. Okay, so we got 5-4-2-3. And let's set this up really quick. So this is our all 7 set. I know that some people love this set because if they are not throwing on axis, if they go off axis, they like this set because this is going to help them stay away from that 7. So they have a lesser chance of getting that 7 then with that 5-4-2-3, the all 7 set. But if you are on axis and you're throwing this, a lot of 7s are going to come up. So if you're not playing a bonus bet, this might be a good come out set if you're playing the light side. If you're playing the dark side, definitely stay away from this set, especially on the come out roll. So that's going to be our 5-4-2-3 set. Our last dice set we're going to practice really quick is the 5-4-5-4, which is our hard way set. And we're just going to go through really quick here, guys. Set that up. This should be one of the easiest ones to get into because this is the one that we are practicing the most. This is our base dice set. A lot of our dice sets, and if you go back into my video collection on where I did a review of all the dice sets, I show you in that video how to get into the particular dice set that the video is highlighting from this base set. You know, how do you turn the dice? So if you're used to setting this 5-4-5 or harder set, it'll say, you know, input the dice on the left side, rotate the right side 3 times or whatever it is. And that'll get you into whatever dice set. So if you want to learn that type of stuff, you know, make sure you watch through those videos and it will go and explain it to you. So that's our dice setting. That's our review of the white belt. Now we're going to move on to our yellow belt again. Yesterday, what we did is we talked about the barrel dice and we talked about how we made it. If you go back in my playlist on the yellow belt video, it'll show you exactly how I made this barrel dice and what you could do to make a similar set. I also said yesterday that I was going to go through off camera yesterday and get in 2 or 3 more sessions, and I did that. I did one session yesterday afternoon. I did one session this morning, and one of the things that I uncovered, I think, is going to help us today, and I'll go through that in a little bit. Remember that our goal with the barrel dice is to throw it down the table without a wobble, and once we can get that on a consistent basis, then we can actually move on to the regular dice. And again, the barrel dice is only a training tool. It's only a way to help improve our throw and the mechanics of our throw. The one thing that I unveiled last night is that I found that if you square up the dice on the table and you bring it forward, not always is it square when you are releasing the dice. So what we could do is, can you guys see that? Yeah, you can see my release on the camera. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my hand up and I'm gonna square them in the air. So you can square them basically with the table itself. And once you find that point, just bring your hand straight down. And what I find now is, and I'm going to set them down here, if you look at the dice on the table, they're not exactly square on the lines here now. So that is where I want to hold the dice on that slight angle. And this is something that a lot of people do not teach really. I would rather fix the mechanics here and bring it back and have it be off at the start. So that way I know when I'm releasing, I don't have to think about that. Remember, that's another variable that George talks about, is, you know, throwing the dice and see if you can do things to fix that. So this is one of the things that I'm gonna suggest that we do for fixing our throws. Okay, so you get into your dice grip, bring it out, make sure it's square to the table, and then bring it straight down. See where you're at. Are you guys gonna be square? Are you gonna be off kilter? Are you gonna be the opposite way? Mine happens to be just a little bit, almost the angle of this A on the S line. Sorry, S line. Okay, so we're just gonna go through. We're gonna go through and try to do this 10, 20 times. I'm not gonna do that many on camera. I will do some off camera once I go through our day. I'll come down a couple times and do the practice. Again, what we're doing is we're looking for throwing down a table. I don't care if you get all the way down the table. What we're looking for is to make sure that we throw the dice down there without a wobble, and so that the dice land and they almost stick to the surface. In fact, I was practicing yesterday, and I was about to right there because they kind of bounce off inside the mixing bowl, which is the corner of the table. I was practicing yesterday with the barrel dice here, and I was getting to the point where they would go down, they would almost stick to the table. And I thought, huh, that's interesting. So I went and I took the regular dice and I threw it down there. What was happening is I was getting the dice, must have been a perfect backspin or whatever, and they would land and they would actually not even move. They wouldn't go forward at all. So whether that's good or bad, I guess that's something we're gonna have to determine as we're going forward. I would think that that would be a good thing that we can practice, get those dice to stick, so that way when we work on our landing zones, which is in the future video, that was a perfect throw, guys. If you saw that, went right up to the edge and it stopped, did not go anywhere, did not bounce off to the side, did not go forward, backwards, it stuck. And it hit the end back wall, which makes it a legal throw. So if we can get that to happen on a regular basis, the ability to be able to influence the dice will be a lot greater. It's something to consider, something to look out for. And again, all we're doing is we're trying to work on our grip, work on getting it down there, and working on getting them to stick somewhere so that their dice are not wobbling and so that they end up as close as we can to that wall. Again, we're not worried as much about the landing zone right now. That's something that we'll be worried about in a later belt level. Now, dial in from skill and luck asked the question on the, there's like a good example where it's stuck and did not go forward, did not go backwards, it just landed and stuck. And that's something we can adjust our landing zone that'll actually hopefully help us. But Dallin asked the question yesterday about what the difference is between the belt levels. And we're going to unveil that as we go forward through the different belt levels. My past videos that I made already, I already have a white belt video made, I have a yellow belt video made. Next one's going to be orange belt. But each additional belt level that we go through, we're going to have a different skill set to learn from throwing the dice. And eventually, by the time we get to black belt, we will have down 3 different positions at the table. So our first position, something I really didn't cover, is we're going to be starting to learn how to throw either at stick left 1 or stick right 1. The second position that we'll learn later in the system will be the end of the table. And then the third position that we'll learn is the opposite of the first one that you learn. So if you learn stick left 1 first, we'll go to stick right 1 second. And my theory is that you learn your position first that you are throwing from, the one that you feel most comfortable from. Second, we're going to learn the position from the end of the table, because it doesn't matter whether you're on the left side or the right side, it should be the same because it's the same distance on the table. And then the third position will be the opposite side from what you were originally comfortable with. So let's go a couple more here with the barrel dice. See if we can get them to stick. Another thing I learned that I taught you guys yesterday, and then I did not actually do, is I said we're going to try to get rid of that pendulum sling. And what we're going to try to do is we're just going to try to throw it right down the table, right from there. We're going to go with a forward swing instead of a backwards and then forward. And in rewatching the video, I wasn't exactly doing that. I was throwing a backwards in a little bit. So make sure that you go straight forward with that dice when you throw them. Try not to backwards pendulum. And this is why. Because, remember, when I started today, when we said we're going to bring it up, square the dice off. Remember the hand position we're going to bring straight down. My dice are a little bit crooked when I do that. Now, if I throw that, and then, I'm sorry, before I go on, from here, we're just going to go straight forward with the dice in a straight line right down the table, as we are drawing a line straight down the table, and I'm going to see where on the alligator bumps down there that would line up with. And that's what I'm actually aiming towards. Now, if I get in here and I line it up, and also when I go back, look what just happened. I'm going to set the dice down. I was right here. Now the dice are off back in here. So they're off line. So let me go forward here so you can see the camera. I start right here with a slight crooked setup on the dice. I bring it back. I'm going to set them straight down to where I'm at. And see how I started here, right here, and they lined up back here. So taking that backswing out should hopefully keep our throw going straighter down the tail. And that was a perfect throw there. You saw how I went straight down that line. So our line is right here, and it goes straight down into the other pass line, straight down the table, and it ended right at the end where we wanted it to end. So throughout the day, guys, your dice training, make sure you go through. We're going to practice this 20 times and make sure you get that wobble out of it. So that way, hopefully in the next day or two, we can actually graduate on to going with the regular dice. We don't have to use the barrel dice nearly as often. But hey, my name is Joe. This is my Craftmaster dice shooting journey. Let's make it yours too.